I was born in Charlottesville, Virginia in 1920. I studied at the University of Virginia. I entered nursing school in well, I forget the exact date, 1937. I have it now. And I went through, that was a 3-year course in those days here at the University of Virginia. And when I got out of nursing school, it was the time of the war, and I decided I would join the Army. So I signed up to go with the 8th Evac Hospital that went from here at the University of Virginia. And I got out of nursing school and went right into the Army. I was the youngest nurse, but everybody was from here. We went on the train, and I got on the train over here at the C&O station and went to, in fact, they swore me in down there. They had that ability in those days. And I got on the train and started for Georgia. And when I got down there were 2 or 3 others on there that were going the same place I was. We decided to stay overnight. We didn't realize we were already AWOL. So when we got there, they read the riot act to us, and that's how we got into the Army. It was a real adventure for me. I had never been anywhere to speak of. And, well, I knew what I read in the paper, but that was about all. And I knew that there was a man named Hitler who was giving us all kinds of trouble, and Mussolini and people like that, but I didn't know anything about them. And so that was just all I knew. We always left from where we were, and we didn't know where we were going until we got there. We, after we took our leave from the port was New York when we left this country, and we ended up in Casablanca. That was our first port. And it was the most beautiful morning. The sun was shining brightly, and it had taken us 2 weeks to get over there because we went very, very carefully to avoid being bombed out and sunk. A few people were seasick, but I wasn't, so I just had a great time. And the ship was a beautiful ship. It was a convoy ship that had been used as a luxury liner before we took it. I enjoyed my work, I enjoyed my associations. I should not say it never did set in. Towards the end of the war, I was sent to the front to a camp that was inhabited by 40 men who were dying. And they knew that they were not going to come back, but they needed some help. And a couple of us were sent up there to help them. And I had had my fill by that time. So when I got an infected finger, I said, I think I'll go back. So I turned tail and went back. Well, I saw him. I stood in review for him. I brought that picture here somewhere. This was in, I think this was in Casablanca. He came and we stood in review for him. And that was quite a thrill. He was quite a man. He didn't speak to us, he just came by and greeted us, and that was all. But he was wonderful. And when I had been over there for about a year, they put a sign up on the bulletin board that they wanted somebody to do anesthesia, and that they would train. And I said, I'll do it. So that was what I ended up doing, and I just loved that. I worked in the operating room all the time then, and I did all of the different forms of anesthesia that were known at that time, and I enjoyed that very much. It was very different when I got home. Although Dr. Drash, who had been one of our head surgeons, was kind enough to offer me a job here at the University of Virginia, and he said he would like me to come and do his anesthetics for him, and I said I would do that, and so I did work here at the University of Virginia. But I had some war harm done to me. I don't know whether that's the name for it, but I just couldn't sleep at night, and I felt a lot of stress. I think a lot of people did. I've heard about it, but I didn't. Well, they are the medals are for the areas that I served in during the battles in Italy. There's one there that describes, or that shows them. I think there are 4 or 5, I forget the number. And then there's the Victory Medal, and the reason I didn't get them was that they just overlooked it for some reason. And then when I tried to get them, all the records had been burned at the point where they were kept. So they had to look them up somehow or other. They found a way of finding them and finally gave them to me, just recently. I think that in general, the people in our country at that time were wonderful for the way they just joined hands and went after this war and took care of things in an orderly way. The women who were left behind did a wonderful job. Rosie the Riveter is a true example of what they had women doing. And those of us who went to the war, we did our best too. And so did the men. Our men were just very, very good and took care of their business and took care of things. I like the way we went after that war better than the one we're fighting now. But that's my personal opinion, and I don't know enough to criticize. I just don't like the way it sounds.
WWII TV.